Hello, ladies and germs. Welcome to episode 287 of the Hoots podcast. As the countdown to 300 continues, we're 13 episodes away from reaching 300. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Hit me up on Instagram as you see on the screen at Joshie Lopez 94, at Josh Lopez Music if you want to see me do some guitar covers. I'm alongside royalty today. As you guys see the title of this week's episode, in honor of the show Friends, I dubbed the name of this episode The One with Royalty. So we have Sir Derrico in the house today, Mr. Derek Stoughton. What's going on, my man?
Welcome, my loyal subjects, to thine kingdom of Derrico. It is thrilled. You should be thrilled that your king, your leader, your paragon of virtue, to quote the old Y2J, is here to bestow welcome. Whoa.
Hold on.
Man, that was so good. We got to have it twice. I like it.
Yes.
No, it's great. You know, it says, I am here to impart my wisdom upon my loyal subjects. You should be thrilled that I took time out of my busy schedule, popping and stopping and little things dropping, as they say, to be here to impart my knowledge upon thine kingdom of Derrico. But it's great to be back with you. It's great to be here live and in living color. We're going to talk some wrestling. We're going to perhaps introduce some new courses to a particular university that was introduced last week. Very excited about learning more about Dipshit University and all the wonderful things that go with it. It's going to be a great week. Great to be back with you, Josh. Let's get after it.
I'm glad you referenced a time period when Chris Jericho was interesting as a performer, so I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, of course.
And perhaps we may have a performance evaluation.
Oh, I always have a performance evaluation. Well, see, Josh, I don't know. See, here's the tricky thing. So, director of operations, that's what I do. But now I'm a king. So really, I should be hiring somebody to do a performance evaluation for you now, because as a king, I got other things I need to do. You know what I'm saying?
We got a lot of good brothers out there that we could possibly.
Yeah, I may have to start training somebody. I may have to start training somebody. Maybe make them an EVP in my court, because then that's the only way they'll get a shot at the TNT title. But that's another opportunity.
Tremendous. All right, so we got a lot to get into. We're coming off the heels of WarGames. This is Sunday, actually. We'll get to the WWE segment. Also, we got WWE Day 1. Now, remember, folks, there's no pay-per-views for WWE in December. We're waiting to New Year's Day, which is pretty cool. I'm actually kind of excited for the fact that the pay-per-view is going to be on a Saturday. I think it's kind of cool, a little different vibe, but we'll get to that later on. And of course, the main event of all segments in professional wrestling podcasting and podcasting in general, it shouldn't really be nominated for Emmy, for being honest with people.
I think so. Absolutely.
It's affectionately known as What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. And of course, we'll let you guys know what's going on with the latest updates at DSU. Remember, folks, put in the hashtag AllDSU if you want to partake in the conversation. And also, I want to mention, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hoots Podcast. And also follow or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts from. We just passed 375,000 downloads on Anchor.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So thank you guys for the support. And Bookmark Pro Wrestling Transcriptions.com. 1 month I'll be doing 16 articles a week. Another month I'll be doing 20 articles a week. The grind doesn't stop, so make sure to check out the website. Got some good content from New Japan's Best in Super Juniors tournament and World Tag League. I'm actually covering 2 New Japan tournaments at the same time, Bert Carter. So it's been kind of busy for me. I'm doing I'm in the paying my dues stage of my career. So just having fun, pumping out some good articles. So I appreciate the support. Make sure you check it out, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. All right. Let's get to the fun, shall we?
Shall. Yeah.
Shout out to my a good friend of mine, Andrew Browning, in the chat. here on Facebook. He says, "What's up?" And then we had this running joke for the "Dude, Where's My Car" movie. And then
Oh, great!
You remember that scene?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then no, and then.
Oh man, shout out to Brian. Thanks for checking out the show, my man. Anyways, let's get to the Good Brothers Q&A session for this week. Got questions this week from Chris and Nate. We got a Patriots fan and a Vikings fan.
He must be very happy then with what's going on with the Patriots, because holy cow, they look good. Like, where's that coming from? Like, there's a lot of people want to see a Brady versus Belichick for the Super Bowl, which would be it's not out of the realm of possibility. It really isn't.
It certainly is not.
Especially that defense. I mean, I think for me it's the Patriots defense. They're playing lights out. But anyways, sorry.
They're balling. Pal. I don't know about tonight's Thursday night football game, but that's another story for another time. Anyways, we're going to start off with Chris here at Twitter at XTeamsLed24X. He says, "What up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Favorite Johnny Gargano matches?" We're going to start off the top. Johnny Gargano had his farewell address, if you will, on NXT 2.0 this past Tuesday. Favorite Johnny Gargano matches? Sir Derek, I'll start with you.
Well, the one that the first one that comes to mind is his match with Andrade Cien Almas at NXT TakeOver. I think it was Philadelphia.
Yes.
I want to say that was 19. It was either 18 or 19, I think. Was it 18? Yeah. That was tremendous. I mean, that for me. I mean, obviously Gargano was incredible, but that also just put Andrade up there as well. So that one sticks out. And then of course, anything he does against Tommaso Ciampa is special. Those two have incredible chemistry. So those are some ones that stick out in my mind.
I got a couple. I got Johnny Gargano against Tommaso Ciampa that we got to see in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Show before WrestleMania 34. That was a crazy show. We went to that match was insane. I think it was an unsanctioned match, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it unsanctioned or
something like that?
Yeah. It would just beat the hell out of you. I think that was the same match as that 6-man where they crowned the inaugural North American champion.
Yeah, we saw Adam Cole.
Baby.
Yeah, that was a fun pay-per-view. Go check it out on the network if you guys haven't seen it yet. Anyways, other Gargano matches. I got to see one where I got to be in the building when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver Chicago when DIY fought the Authors of Pain in the ladder match. After the match, Ciampa turned on Gargano. That's how the show closed. So that's another one that stands out to me. Any of the ones he had with FTR or American Alpha, that was a good stretch of matches. I love the matches that he had with what's his face, Aleister Black. They had a couple good matches. Also, you're talking about takeovers in Rumble weekends. There was one that Johnny had as a heel against Ricochet in 2019, I think, in Phoenix, which was an amazing match for the North American title. And I love the match that he had with Halloween Havoc last year with Damian Priest. And there's a lot of speculation about what's next for Johnny Gargano. Will he go to AEW, or will he go to Raw or SmackDown? Will he go to Impact Wrestling? Will he go to New Japan? I have no idea. I know he mentioned in his promo that he's preparing to be a dad, and Candace is expecting to give birth in February. I think he said in the promo on Tuesday. So I'm excited for him and his family. Obviously, that's gonna be a big moment for them in the cup. It's gonna be here before you know it. This whole year flew by, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's February tomorrow. So
did you see the MJF graphic that he posted on his Facebook page?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta say, I thought that was hilarious, and I usually don't like when they take shots at WWE, but with what MJF has been doing with this character, I thought that was actually freaking hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, go look at MJF's Facebook page where, he says going to Raw versus going to AEW. Like there's a graphic of Kyle O'Reilly smiling, and it says going to AEW, and a graphic, and the Johnny Gargano is kind of like frowning, and it says going to Raw. It's really funny, actually. So check it out. I think it's hysterical.
Let's see what else we got here from Chris. He says top 5 or 10 favorite. I gotta see how you phrase this here. What's some of your top 5 or 10 favorite performers that have appeared in NXT over the years?
Wow. Gosh, there's so many. I think of Shinsuke Nakamura as one of the first that comes to mind.
Yep.
Adam Cole, certainly. Well, any of the Undisputed Era, I think, is absolutely, when they were a group, I thought they were absolutely terrific. Bobby Roode and the Glorious theme song. I mean, that was just awesome. You think of Drew McIntyre, you think Samoa Joe, certainly. The Bailey, Sasha, or Bailey, and back when she was Sasha Banks and not overrated Banks as she is now. But back when Bailey and Sasha were doing their thing. So those are just a few that immediately come to mind for me.
Kevin Owens is number 1 on the list for me. Finn Balor, another guy I can mention. Charlotte Flair, the best female performer outside of Becky Lynch to pop up from NXT. Bianca Belair, Damian Priest.
Yep.
I'll mention Gargano, Ciampa here. I agree with you with the stuff with the Undisputed Era. There's been a lot of good talents that showed up from NXT. Yep. There's always this running thing about, people come up from NXT to Raw or SmackDown and they don't become bigger stars. If you look at the last couple of WrestleMania cards, and especially just regular cards in general, outside of Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, 90% of the card are filled with people. Maybe Randy Orton's the only other exception here, but
AJ Styles.
Yeah, 4 people. Outside that, you have around 88% of the card that's represented by people that came from NXT.
Right.
So is it really that everybody from NXT goes up to Raw and SmackDown and fails? No, it's not really the case. I got a post here from Brett here on YouTube. He says, Finn or Prince Balor, which had a better run? Are you talking about the recent heel thing he did last year? You know what? For me, I'll probably go with his original when he came into NXT. Not that I didn't enjoy him being the Prince and doing the whole symbols of Bullet Club and whatever, but it didn't blow me away either. Is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't like Finn Balor. I think at a certain extent he's kind of overrated as far as what he does in the ring. But, how he carries himself with his facial expressions and the face paint and all that stuff. Yeah, the guy has charisma. Now, he can't talk to save his life, but, I've enjoyed his work over years as a performer. But for me, as far as which version of him had a better run at NXT, I have to go with the original version.
I like it. Yeah, I loved the original Finn Balor too. Anytime he came out as the Demon, that was really special. I think of the Jack the Ripper entrance when they did NXT TakeOver London. That was really cool. So I think Finn Balor is an incredible talent, as we all know. We all recognize what he brings to the table. So yeah, I like his original run in NXT as well. Again, with the Demon stuff was really cool. And listen, I like the Prince stuff too. Don't get me wrong. Like Finn Balor is a great performer. And, no matter what he does. But, yeah, I like the original NXT stuff, too. I thought that was terrific.
Thoughts on Ring of Honor's final battle this weekend? This a more accurate statement on the state of Ring of Honor. I forgot that final battles this weekend. Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, isn't it, though, Josh? Isn't that a sad thing to say?
Yeah, I don't want to laugh about it. It's really embarrassing. A lot of people can say, "Oh, this is the greatest time to be a wrestling fan," and everything outside WWE is going rainbows and butterflies. That's not the case. you got a promotion that's basically halting their operation. And you have talented wrestlers, male and female, from Ring of Honor. You got talented announcers as well. They're basically losing their jobs as of this weekend. And a pay-per-view coming up this weekend of what consequence? With WCW's last show, it was on TV. And that's what it was in Panama. I think it was, Panama City.
Panama Beach.
Yeah, so when you have now you're doing a pay-per-view in Baltimore, it's a shoulder shrug for me. I think it's unfortunate that this is happening. Whatever happens with this reiteration of Ring of Honor, I hope it's for the best. But at the end of the day, Joe Koff and the people at Sinclair Broadcasting should be ashamed of themselves, because in a lot of ways, they could be what AEW is right now if they didn't have their head up their ass and Sinclair actually invested into what Ring of Honor was as a product. They had way more outlets to promote and distribute Ring of Honor than Tony Khan does, and they decided to sit on their hands and treat it like another just regular indie company. Guys, I live in Chicago, and they don't even air Ring of Honor here. You got to go to Rockford or some suburb of Illinois to even watch Ring of Honor on cable. Look, I'm in the second biggest market in the United States, and they don't even have Ring of Honor on our TVs here. It's sad. It's pathetic. I feel bad for the roster because they have a lot of talented people there. I hope the pay-per-view goes off without a hitch, but the state of affairs of Ring of Honor it just gives a bad look to professional wrestling as a whole. And I think it's unfortunate. It shouldn't have to been this case.
Well, let me ask you this, Josh. What are you looking forward to this weekend? Because I've actually got the card pulled up right here because I was just curious. And I agree with you.
Run it down.
Yeah. So then this is the card that I have, and I've pulled this from Wikipedia. So you'll have to let me know if this is correct. But so it looks like for the World Championship, you've got Bandito defending against Jonathan Grisham.
Yep.
You've got Rock for the Women's Championship. You've got Roxy defending against Willow Nightingale.
Okay.
4-corner survival match for the ROH World Television Championship. Dalton Castle, the champion, defending against Rhett Titus, Silas Young, and Joe Hendry.
Okay.
6-man tag match for the ROH World 6-man Tag Team Championship. I didn't know there was a 6-man tag team championship at ROH.
Trios.
Oh, great. Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Khan, Moses, and O'Shea Edwards with Ron Hunt against The Righteous, Vincent Bateman, and Dutch with Vita Von Starr. Josh Woods, this is the ROH Pure Championship. The ROH Pure Championship. Josh Woods defending against Brian Johnson.
Okay.
World Tag Team Championship. The OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett against the Briscoe brothers, Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe. That could be an incredible match. I know those performers, and the Briscoes especially, I think, are terrific. So that's going to be great. Kenny King versus Shane Taylor in a fight without honor match. And then you've got Eli Isom, Taylor Rust, and Tracy Williams versus Brody King, Homicide, and Tony Deppen in a 6-man tag. Chelsea Green and the Hex, which is Allison Kay and Marty Bell, versus Miranda Elise and the Allure, Angelina Love and Mandy Leon in a 6-woman tag match. Yep. And then Dragon Lee versus Ray Horace in a singles match. So is there anything on there that sticks out to you, Josh?
It's a breast comment. Yes, my fingers will soon fall off. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Gresham and Bandito will be a good match. Jonathan Gresham is one of the best wrestlers in the world, so it's good to see him perform. Also, you have you mentioned OGK against the Briscoes. I think that'll be a good match. Outside of that, it's not really much that's really catching my eye. Shane Taylor Promotions is one of their big faction groups in in Ring of Honor. It's all black group, by the way, which is really good. It's really cool to see Shane Taylor, the guy that's the main guy of the group. It's a very interesting guy. He's good in the ring. He cuts good promos. If you guys haven't seen Shane Taylor cut promos or just what they've been doing in Ring of Honor, he's good. He's a guy you should keep your eyes on. The whole group, I just like that whole contingent and the whole group and how they've been presented and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, card doesn't really entice me, to be honest. But yeah, it should be decent, I guess.
Do you think so? Real quick, Josh, and I know we need to move on, and maybe there's a question about this, but which of the ROH talents do you think will get picked up somewhere? Will any of them get picked up somewhere?
Well, I think for sure, at least a large amount of them will probably show up in AEW, but I think Impact should try to invest into some of them. I mean, they already got Chelsea Green there,
right?
On Impact, but you know, when you look at guys like Dalton Castle and Silas Young, I think those are guys who would fit good on Impact. I see Jonathan Gresham doing more stuff like AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'd still see him in WWE.
Well, shoot, WWE isn't really hiring anybody right now.
Dragon Lee, yeah, that's a good point. Dragon Lee, Ray Horse. Again, probably, you know, everybody goes to WWE or AEW, but you should also include the NWA and MLW and Impact in the conversation as well, because those are companies that can take another step if you actually have people recommending them going to these shows. Like MLW is really variety based. It's one of my favorite promotions to cover because it's not all the same thing all at once. It's a hybrid wrestling show, and they introduce a lot of luchador talent. And I think a lot of those guys could fit in MLW for sure. Josh Woods, you mentioned, that could be a good gift for MLW or NWA. It's going to be interesting. OGK's been making recent appearances for the NWA over the last couple of weeks. You mentioned the Hacks. They are the current NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions, and wish everybody the best this weekend. It says I'm sure it's going to be very emotional for the Briscoes. For the Briscoes, obviously, they spent their entire career in Ring of Honor and going out of the bank just like Sting did in WCW. So I hope Ring of Honor has a wonderful send-off for their show, and we'll see what happens next. All right, next question here for Chris. He says, he's a sports one. Does the NBA need to bring back the Supersonics?
Elias and Kevin Owens would say no. No, I think they're fine where they are. I mean, if Seattle wants to, you know, I don't know. I don't follow the NBA as much as I should probably, but I mean, I think it's if Seattle wanted to get another basketball team, they could, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to see Seattle come back because that's like the jerseys, and you know, maybe you could switch Memphis back to Vancouver and make them Vancouver Grizzlies
That's
again.
True. I went to a Vancouver Grizzlies game when I was growing up. It was a lot of fun. They did a good job.
That's wonderful.
No.
It's been fun getting to catch up with the Bulls and their kind of resurgence so far early this part of the season, but they've been playing with COVID stuff over the last couple of days, so hopefully we get all our guys back soon. They had a bad loss yesterday to the Cavaliers, but it's part of the schedule. These type of games are going to happen, you know what I mean? Anyways.
Well, yeah, because Billy Donovan's their coach right now, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. As soon as they can Fred Hoiberg, it all just kind of went.
You can't get much lower than Fred Hoiberg and Jim Boylan. But next question here. Where would you place Steph Curry among best ever? I think he's the best three-point shooter of all time, but I don't think he's the best NBA player of all time.
No, he's still got. I would put him maybe top 20.
I put him top 10.
Oh, top 10. Okay. Yeah.
Just for his impact for this like decade and era of basketball, I think it warrants for him to be in that spot. Is he the best pure shooter of all time? I guess that's up to debate for other people. As far as the best ever, though, it's just a different criteria for me, and I am biased. But even if I wasn't even from Chicago, I would still say Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's not close, especially with the season LeBron's having this year. You know, he's not having his best season this year, but I know. No, it's anyone that says LeBron. I mean, LeBron is number 2. I would argue that, but MJ is revolutionary. Yeah, MJ will always be number 1 in my book.
I even put Kobe before LeBron. Shout out to Kobe, man upstairs.
Absolutely.
Next question. Going back to NXT. We assume Ciampa and Bron Breakker 2 happens at New Year's Evil. New Year's Evil is going to be their like New Year's special on USA. Yep. They did this last year too, I think. Which is cool. Really quick life lesson for people. Don't assume things. If you assume things, you're going to make an ass out of yourself. That's your first tip of the day. Never make assumptions. I know that's a go-to trope in wrestling fans universes, but we can't assume things all the time. Anything can happen in professional wrestling. So Ciampa and Breakker, yeah, I think it'll probably happen. That'll probably be the main event of the show. I mean, they had their first match on the Halloween Havoc special. I don't see why they couldn't have it on this one.
No, and it'll be a great match because both of those are excellent talents. We know what Ciampa, it's kind of like, the new leaders versus the old leaders kind of thing, which is what they did at WarGames recently. So it's just continuation of all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a great match. I think it'll be terrific. I think both are excellent performers, and that'll be awesome. Can't wait.
I will say this, though. Bron Breakker is the man. He has everything in front of him. How he carries himself, how he still like sounds exactly like his uncle, which is hilarious.
That's awesome. I love it.
Tremendous. Next question. If another wrestling company was to be started, would Eazy-E and Conrad Thompson be the right guys to do it? Man, I'm gonna get some flack for this, but no. No disrespect to Eric Bischoff. It's nothing, my opinion on him. It's more a reflection on Conrad. And I think the business needs less people that rely on Dave Meltzer for all their philosophies and viewpoints on professional wrestling. So we already got enough of that with Tony Khan. All due respect to Conrad. I like Conrad. I've had a chance to interview him in the past when I had my old radio show. I admire his work ethic and what he's made out of the whole ad-free show stuff. I think that's awesome. And everything he's done with Bruce Pritchard and JR and the number of pockets does. I'll never take anything away from Conrad. And Conrad's a good dude, but I think the business needs to stray away from people that their only philosophies of professional wrestling is skewed by what Dave Meltzer reports. So, no.
Meltzer, Alvarez, or Sean Ross Sapp, or
Wade Keller.
Yeah, like form your own opinion. Like have your own. That's what we do here on the Hoots podcast, Josh. We have our own opinions about things. We watch the product and we say what we think about it. We don't listen to Seltzer and Alvarez and all those, other folks. That's like, have your own opinion. That makes it more authentic.
Correct. Last question here from Chris this week. He says, do you think we get CM Punk versus Kenta in 2022? Yes, I think we'll see it in a USA version of a New Japan show. But again, like I keep saying, I just don't see CM Punk or Bryan Danielson popping up in Japan until this pandemic simmers down, or we're going to just keep popping up with new variants every day. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I do think we'll probably see that match sooner or later.
Sounds good. Yeah, that'll be good. And I mean, they're trying to open the forbidden door. So, like you said, they'll probably, they got, Suzuki had like a 2-off appearance. Man, remember when they hyped up Kenta? Like, oh my God, Kenta's here. And he was here for like a week and then he went away. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they had a random Mudshow tag match and none of it a consequence. It's ridiculous. That's the whole thing with the Forbidden Door. It's beneficial for AEW and their stock and their Wrestling Observer Awards voting, potential, but it doesn't really help out the partners they're working with.
No,
so I want to give a shout out to Chris for the questions this week. I heard that Chris actually made his debut on a podcast this week.
really.
So check out XT's 1124X so you can get more information for which podcast Chris popped up in and support the good brother. He does a great job sending us questions each week, and he's a good friend, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, last batch of questions this week, and we got a lot of them here from Nate the Great. Follow him on Twitter at Psycho McGeary. Shout out to Nate.
Love us some Nate the Great.
We could joke about this now, but me and Nate suffered embarrassing losses this past Sunday in the NFL. The life of Chicago Bears fan is, what a bad quarterback looks like. Either the coach doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and the quarterback is throwing interceptions to defensive linemen. And that happened this past Sunday with the Bears and Cardinals. And Nate's Minnesota Vikings lost to the Detroit Lions.
Oh God, you knew the Lions were going to get at least one win, because they do have some talent. They have some, not a whole lot, but they have some.
Shout out to MCDC. Shout out.
Yeah. But the Lions, they've got I know Swift was hurt, but they got TJ Hawkinson, and they have they have a couple players who know what they're doing, but yeah, here's the thing though, Josh, about Minnesota. And when Kirk Cousins is on, he's fantastic. He's one of the best in the league. But when he does a bad game, it just goes to shit. And the Vikings have the weapons. They've got Justin Jefferson, and they've got, I know Dalvin Cook's hurt right now, but they've got Madison, so it's I don't know, man. The Vikings are an anomaly to me.
Bert Carr, I feel like, Skip Bayless always says that Matt Stafford is Pad Stafford, but for me, wouldn't that padding label attach more to Kirk Cousins?
Maybe.
Like you said, he's on, but he's like the new Phillip Rivers. He's always trying to have some fourth quarter comeback now. I don't know one Vikings game this season that hasn't been decided by a touchdown or less. And Mike Zimmer is overrated defensive mind, and they need to fire him soon as possible.
Listen,
my thoughts are out to date because I don't know how I feel if the Bears lost to the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Oh God, yeah, that would be. I am happy to see David Montgomery back though for the Bears. I know that's a very good thing. I think Justin Fields is starting this week, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes,
excellent. Well, we'll see.
It looks like we're going to have Akeem Hicks back too. So it might be time for Aaron Rodgers to get a receipt for his stupid comments the last time they played the Bears. But anyways, here's some questions from Nate this week. Is there anyone even close to CM Punk on the microphone? Yes, the guy he's feuding with, MJF. I also say Roman Reigns is getting up there on the microphone, especially with what he's doing right now. The tribal chief is he's the tribal chief. What else is said?
There's no one else. He is head and shoulders above everybody else. Roman Reigns is here. Everyone else is kind of fighting somewhere for number 2.
Correct.
Well, I wouldn't say that's true. I mean, you got a few people that are solidifying themselves as number 2, but Reigns is so far above them. It's not funny.
Yeah. What would be your answer to that question?
Yeah. I mean, who can match with Punk on the mic? MJF for sure. I thought the Miz has been cutting some great promos these last couple weeks. So he was Edge cut some great promos. I thought they were both terrific. Seth Rollins, I'd throw him in there. Kevin Owens. Both of them are great on the mic. I thought Sami Zayn did a great job this week in his stuff with Brock Lesnar. So, I mean, there's a number of folks that are cutting great promos recently. But, Yeah, so I think that those are some folks that immediately come to mind for me.
Okay, next one here for Nate. He says, "Who do you think will dethrone RK Bro?" I think there's one team and one team only, and you notice when Oregon gets really upset with Riddle is when he interacts with the Street Profits. I think the Street Profits are the team that will beat RK Bro for the tag titles. Royal Rumble's right around the corner. The Royal Rumble's in St. Louis. Sooner or later, things are going to fall off the cliff with these two guys, and I got to give props for everybody that this group this team is continuing on as long as it has, and Riddle and Orton have done a lot of good stuff together, and some people will be, oh, it's predictable that somebody's going to turn on each other, but you tell me that you wouldn't want to see Randy Orton against Matt Riddle at WrestleMania?
Correct.
I mean,
that'd be phenomenal.
He's there.
Well, maybe Riddle can have MSK in his corner now that he's the shaman for MSK.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
That was fantastic. That was great. But yeah, no, I like that idea of the Street Profits taking the titles off of them. Though I do eventually want to see Montez Ford break out on his own, because I think Montez Ford could be a superstar for sure. I think he's got the look, he's got the charisma, he's great in the ring, but. Yeah, so we'll see. But no, I like the idea of the Street Profits taking the titles off RK Bro.
Yep. Next question here. He says, what do you say are the 3 most important matches in wrestling history? Oh, that's open-ended too.
Most important. Okay.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm excluding one that's obvious, but for obvious reasons.
Are you thinking of one that took place in the bank that has money?
No.
You know which one I'm talking about? Do you know which one I'm talking about though?
No, I'm talking about the one that happened in a old football stadium in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
I'm going with first one here. For me, this really signified what the Attitude Era was going to be. Was the double turn with Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13.
Yep.
It's one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. I was obviously too young to attend this show. WrestleMania 13 was at the Rosemont Horizon. I was 3 years old at the time, so I was able to attend this WrestleMania. Yeah, Bret Hart and Stone Cold's double turn was very, very special in a lot of ways. I would even say, having Becky and Charlotte and Ronda having that main event of WrestleMania deserves to be up there. I think Kofi and Daniel Bryan, just for historical purposes, having that moment as well. But, hey, remember, Daniel Bryan was never given any spotlight, right? Remember, he was held back all those years.
Yeah, he never did he win the title at the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania and the first WrestleMania on the network. Yeah, no, he's never.
No, he was held back, buried. Brock Lesnar and the Undertaker streak obviously has to be on the list. Man, this is a lot of them, man.
I'm thinking of 2, and both of them involve The Rock. I'd say Rock versus Hogan at Mania 18, like a passing of a true passing of the torch. And, you could argue a big WWE versus WCW, that transition being solidified because, Hogan made WCW what it was. And then him passing the torch to The Rock. And then I'd say The Rock, John Cena from Mania 28. We never thought we'd see The Rock again. You could probably put the pair of those matches together. Rock Cena for 28 and 29, another true passing of the torch for Cena there. So those are a few that come to mind for me. The question was most important, right?
Yeah.
Montreal Screwjob, because that really launched the Attitude Era. That launched the Mr. McMahon character, like that. That launched that whole next generation of professional wrestling. So, was it the best match ever? No, but it was historically important, I think. I'd throw that one in there. Gosh.
There's somebody that we're excluding for obvious reasons.
Yeah, have you noticed, Josh, we haven't mentioned any 7-star matches?
No, we haven't mentioned Olivier yet, right? We haven't mentioned the greatest tag match of all time, the Young Bucks against Olivier and Hangman Page. Oh my God! Don't get me wrong, I like that match, but people were overrating that thing to the cows go home.
Right. It was a good match. I'm not going to deny that. Jericho Omega, that was a good match. It's.
I think that match is important for the fact that I guess you could say that match was the antithesis of what AEW came to be formed after.
Sure.
That was before AEW started, so I guess you could add that to the list of stuff. That's
I mean, and honestly, Josh, I wouldn't have a problem with that match being added on that list because it was kind of the genesis for the formation of AEW.
Yeah.
So I actually don't have a problem with that match being on the list.
That's a good question, though, Nate. I appreciate that. Is there any song you listen to when you're sad? Oh boy, yes. I don't know who doesn't. I got a couple. More recently, I've been listening to as I was dealing with my situation a few months ago. But I don't. This thing, I listen to so much different music that I don't like to put labels on them. All songs in some way or another have some reference to love to them. You know what I mean? And maybe I share a lot of songs. Because for me personally, I really don't want to be on social media. But if I'm going to be on it, I want to share some stuff that I'm listening to, and maybe people could enjoy listening to it. That's also another reason why I do the guitar covers, because it's a lot of fun. I still keep up and play music because music's always been an important part of my life. But I don't like to put things in the box. Oh, this is a song I go to for happiness. This is a song I go to for being sad or healing. But I'm a human being. We all deal with shit, and we have stuff that we go to that clears our head from stuff. And there's been a couple I've listened to over the last couple of months, and there's one called "Low Rising" by a group called The Swell Season. I heard this song on How I Met Your Mother. I've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks. I started watching How I Met Your Mother, and it's crazy how much that show has meant a lot to me and how I relate to it in a lot of ways. It's really quickly become one of my favorite shows of all time. And for full disclosure, I've never been a big TV guy. Maybe the only two shows I watched chronologically and stuff like that outside was when I was a kid and we be forced to watch Sopranos or Curb Your Enthusiasm. But I was really never a big TV guy. But I started watching How I Met Your Mother a couple months ago, and I just finished the series about a couple weeks ago. And I love that show and everything it represented. And I'll take flat for it. I love the ending too.
I did too.
And the crux of that story, yes, the title of the show is called How I Met Your Mother, but the mother of your kids, sometimes in life, is not your soulmate.
Sure.
The soulmate of Ted of that entire show was Robin. Anytime bad things happen in timing, they were always colliding at the same time. That's fate. That's destiny. You can't deny that. So I get it. There wasn't enough exposure for the mother, which I thought Kristen Milioti did a fantastic job for what she did for that one season. But I love that show, and it's Brother Carter. I think you understand why that show meant a lot to me. So there's a song I heard from that from season 8, is Low Rising. Then there's other ones like "You Did It" by Brett Young. That's another good song. Let's see what other ones I was mentioning. When I'm sad, I try to find more songs that pick me up and maybe pick up the guitar. So I always go back to like my roots of being the Eagles fan. So I pull up like New Kid in Town, stuff like that. But what about you, Brett Carr? Because I don't really know what your musical taste is. I know you have your history in classical music, but I need to know the actual music taste of Brother Carter all around.
Yeah, it's a wide variety for me as well. When growing up, I listened to a lot of pop music, not popular music in the 90s. I listened to what was on the radio back then. So you got your Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and I actually really like those artists, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and stuff. I really like those artists. I thought No Doubt was terrific. So I really like listening to those artists growing up. Nowadays I try to appreciate more what these artists bring to the table, like somebody like a Lady Gaga, who I think is just a tremendous talent. I think her voice is just remarkable. Adele is another one who I think is really, really great. So, I listen more for artists and kind of what their musical, what musical abilities they bring to the table. And I think, like I said, I think those two artists particularly are incredible singers.
Hey, I'm a Taylor Swift fan.
I don't know Taylor Swift either. I don't listen to her regularly, but I appreciate what she brings to the table. So I have no problems with her as well. I listen to a lot of Christian music when I'm feeling down. Kind of just lifts my spirits up and kind of puts my heart back in the right place and kind of lifts my mindset. So a lot of those types of things are things I listen to. I just want to hear good artists do what they do. So those are just some names that come to mind for me.
There was another song I heard, "Happier" by Ed Sheeran's another one.
Ed Sheeran's terrific. I like Ed Sheeran a lot. I think he's very talented as well. I like a Lil Nas X. I think it's very unique what he's doing. He's bringing something unique to the table, which I think is great. So yeah, good stuff there.
By the way, if you guys need a song that if you like want to zone out and it's like a good song to check out "Blindsided" by Bon Iver. Bon Iver, I don't know how they pronounce that last name, but Bon Iver, type in "Blindsided." It's a very, very good song. That's a good question here from Nate. Next one here, he says, what was a pivotal moment from your childhood? Oh, that's an interesting one. Man. I go ahead, Brooker.
I was going to say one is the big one for me, I think, is when I moved. Well, two, one when my parents got divorced when I was 8, and that was, kind of just was what it was, and it's fine. And then I think when I moved to the United States when I was 16, that's I moved to Austin, Texas from Kimberley, British Columbia, Canada. So that was a pretty big transition. But so I'd say those are the two big ones for me. And I learned a lot from my parents' divorce and what a lot about life and love and relationships and stuff. So yeah, so I'd say those are the two big ones for me.
I don't know if it counts as childhood. I mean, my parents got divorced when I was a junior in high school.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if that counts as my childhood, but I'll add it there. Why not? Let's see. I have a couple, and there's a lot of fun moments too from my childhood. When I was in 8th grade, I got to be selected to be the guitar player for the CPS All City Elementary Jazz Band.
Oh, nice.
And they ran by the city and by the Chicago Public School District, and we went to this school around my house called Salcedo School, and we had practices every Saturday and rehearsals, and we do a lot of different events around the city of Chicago. I played at the Harold Washington Library, played at the Winter Fest presentation at Navy Pier when I was in 7th grade, which was a lot of fun. My most pivotal for me, especially as a kid, that was like all music 24/7, 365. That was like my main focus at the time, was when I got to play at the Symphony Orchestra Hall in 2008 in downtown. I got to play there for our final performance of the year. And that was it was very powerful experience for me because just being a kid that I never thought I'd be playing guitar and stuff. I mean, my grandma owned a guitar shop, but like I have sausage league fingers. I didn't think I would like mess well playing guitar and stuff like that. But to have that moment to be on a professional stage like that was really pivotal for me and how I go about my work. And I think a lot of the work ethic I put into music back then still lives on today in how I carry myself with the transcripts and everything. So some old habits don't die, and I'm very proud of the stuff I did in music when I was younger, and getting to play at competitions and CPS competitions. We did a CPS band festival at the United Center when I was at sixth grade. I was playing percussion at the time.
Nice.
It was elementary. Here's the thing, a little background, my musical background. So when we did main like music, composing stuff like that, those type of band classes, I played percussion. I played xylophone. I played snare drums, timpani, the whole list. There's songs that I would play 4 instruments at the same time. And this it was a lot of fun. And then when I did the jazz stuff, I would play guitar.
Oh, cool.
So it was cool. It was really beneficial for me to do that when I was in elementary school before I went into high school. And it really helped me out because when we did like the major high school competitions in Chicago when I was in high school, I was already game. I knew how to read music. I was like one of the top students in our class, and I got accepted to Berkeley in Boston my senior year of high school.
I remember that.
I wasn't able to go to school because I wasn't able to afford it, but I knew the work I put into music, and it's something that still holds true with me today. I don't really sit here and think about what if, but I know the work I put into it. So if I could get accepted to the top high school, top music college in the world, when I was a younger kid, there's nothing in this world that I can't accomplish. So those are the ones that stand out the most to me.
I love that, man. That's really terrific. I remember you telling me about the Berkeley story, and I know you've played a lot of different instruments too. So that's really cool. I hadn't forgot about that, but that's cool. A reminder of that story of yours, man. That's really terrific.
Yes, I actually got a xylophone right around the corner of this my studio, which is kind of cool.
Oh boy.
Let's see here. We got from Nate. That's an interesting question. What was something you learned while working at the tattoo shop? I'll take this one. Obviously, when I was at the tattoo shop, I learned a lot of things about marketing, working at being what do you call it, like receptionists. Like people you see at the front desk when you go to these places, and just I learned a lot about hustling and that entrepreneur type thing because I was working in an environment that wasn't like corporately run. It was my uncle's tattoo shop, so it was really DIY brass knuckles type of operation that we had at the tattoo shop, and I learned a lot during my time there, and I learned about I learned a lot of different life stories from a lot of different people that we had there for clients and stuff, and I had to oversee all the tattoos that are going on at the shop because I was basically running the shop at nights during the week when my uncle would be working during the day. And having that responsibility to be like kind of like a assistant shop owner in some ways. I would close the shop. I would set up the alarm when we get ready to lock everything up. I cleaned all the tattoo tubes and piercing clamps and stuff. I can't believe that I was actually working there for 4 years, which is crazy to think about. And I left right before I went back to Florida. I remember this very, very clearly. I think like my last day working at a tattoo shop was this past June. Like I think the first week of June. It was right after that, and I went back to Florida. And I had a good time there. I learned a lot of life lessons, and it was a good environment. To have that responsibility to oversee a lot of different things and multitask and stuff like that. I learned a lot, and we dealt with a couple of knuckleheads here and there, but understanding, retail, which was what I was doing at the time, and that line of work, and I learned a lot from that experience, which is very beneficial. But I also learned some things what not to do. But I'm not ashamed. If somebody ever asked me, if like, oh, do you regret ever working at a tattoo shop? No. To say that was like my first actual job, I take that with a badge of honor, and I'm very grateful for that. The fact that I can work from home now is pretty cool. But
Sure.
To say that I got to work at a tattoo shop, I'll never forget that.
Good for you, man. That's great.
Next question here. We got is from Nate. Obviously, I know you're against AEW and Impact being involved in Wrestle Kingdom, and maybe that was never the plan. But do you think it hurts New Japan that the border to Japan will be closing soon again? It's not that I'm against them working with New Japan. It's just unrealistic right now with the pandemic to have their guys go over there. So, I keep getting recommendations. Oh, is Moose gonna pop up at Wrestle Kingdom? Is so and so from AEW gonna show from at Wrestle Kingdom? I can't predict that because I'm not in control of COVID. I'm not Dr. Fauci. I don't know when this thing is gonna go away.
Right.
So honestly, they had this new report about the borders closing again in Japan. I guess they're having issues with COVID too. It's a shitty situation. I hate seeing that. So
Right.
hopefully that could get all rectified sooner or later. But I don't have much to add on to that. But it's not that I'm against them working together. It's just we have to be realistic. Of you want to have these street matches of Adam Cole against Naito or Bryan Danielson against Zack Sabre Jr. I just don't think you're going to see that anytime soon.
Yeah, it's I guess, I mean, that's a big part of it also, but hopefully, I guess I once I don't know even what the right term, once the shock or the kind of the newness of COVID, because COVID's never going away. Like, let's be honest, COVID is here with us for the rest of our lives. Hang on just a second here. I have to sneeze here. Sorry. No, I mean, COVID, and there's always going to be a new variant and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a little while before then. Once things calm down and they open up Japan again, that'll be good. I mean, my other big thing about it, Josh, is, and we talk about this every single week. It's like, that's one of the things that these companies base they try to latch on to what New Japan is doing. And, instead of building their own brand, I mean, that's our biggest criticism of AEW. So I'm not surprised by any of this, that the news that, Moose and, Bryan Danielson could have a match or something like that, which don't get me wrong, I'd like to see it, but it's just, again, it just goes back to what we talk about all the time, which is these companies care more about latching on to what other folks are doing than building their own identity and letting their own work speak to themselves. So that's my only criticism of it. Well, I mean, the pandemic stuff, of course, but that aside, that's my other major criticism of it.
We got two more questions here for Nate as we wrap up this Good Bros Q&A. He says, what do you think Impact sees in Moose, and what are your thoughts on the Strange title match coming up? Wouldn't Jonah versus Alexander be better? The title match is referencing for the next pay-per-view for Impact is Hard to Kill on January 8th, which seems to have like 6 freaking wrestling shows that day. That's the day my fingers will fall off. Okay. So that means Moose put his Impact World title out of line against Matt Cardona and William Morrissey. So you got Moose against Zack Ryder and Big Cass, basically. That's the main event for Hard to Kill. I don't know. Impact is not doing well so far. They're starting to hover over 100,000 viewers on TV, and their shows have not been fun to jot down recently. It's not good right now for Impact.
Never like to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see Jonah and Josh Alexander. I just don't know why they had to do the whole thing with Moose cashing in on Josh Alexander after he beat Christian Cage. This whole year, you've been trying to signal the fact that, we need to get the title away from AEW. The guy he wins, he's celebrating with his family, and you need to rush Moose in to do the cash in. I don't know. They're doing some stupid stuff right now. So you could do a gazillion different options, and it's not a slight on Moose because I think Moose is a really good performer, and I think he'd be a good champion. It's just I feel like when Impact tries, it's the story of their whole company. They try to take one step forward and they take 3 steps back. So
Right.
I hate seeing that. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say though, Josh, I did get a chance to check out Moose's promo after he won the Impact World Championship. I thought it was actually a pretty good promo, to be honest with you. And I think Moose has some potential, but so we'll have to see where this goes. So I just wanted to add that I really enjoyed that promo from Moose after he won the Impact World Championship. It was Bound for Glory, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah. Bound for Glory. Let's see. Last question here for the podcast this week. Oh, shout out to my good brother Nathan Great that sent us a tweet on Twitter. He's a screenshot of our show. Shout out to the good brother Patrick Fritz.
Nice.
He said, "Great catcher for Josh Lopez and whose podcast at Derek Stoughton."
I just caught that.
That's
funny.
Shout out to the good brother Patrick Fritz. He's even here on YouTube. Shout out. Oh man. By the way, speaking of How I Met Your Mother, I had one of my favorite bits from the show was they had this like running joke between Ted and Robin, where anytime they say they reference something from like the military, they like do a salute. So
I think that's great. Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, this is the general idea.
Yep.
And like you're describing something that someone's a major buzzkill.
Yep. I know. I love that. I love that too. I think that's hilarious.
General stuck in my teeth. No, it's Colonel stuck in my teeth. There you go. Oh man, Robin, it's been a major pleasure.
Major pleasure. Yep. Oh, I love it.
Okay. Last question for Nate this week. And we appreciate all the questions we got this week for the podcast. He says, and I quote, pardon the phrase from Michael Cole. Do you do anything different when transcribing gimmick matches as opposed to regular 1-versus-1 matches? Oh man, that's interesting. I appreciate you, Nate, asking me about the transcribing questions. I'm sure a lot of people are curious as far as like my process behind how I type all this stuff down. Because there are different methods that I take when it comes to transcribing certain shows. So, yeah, man. Last week I broke down my process of transcribing a WWE tag match to an AEW tag team match, and when it comes to gimmick matches and traditional one-on-one matches, they're all very different on the gimmick that's attached to them, obviously. So if it's a ladder match and you look at the transcript, you may not see as much written down because that match has a lot of selling and there's a lot of slow points where guys are getting back on their feet and stuff like that. So I think the length of the transcript of a one-on-one match versus the gimmick match is varying and it's fluid due to the gimmick that's attached to it. So if it's a gimmick match like a 2 out of 3 falls match, hey, I'm sorry, you may get 4 or 5 paragraphs out of it. It's a lot of matches, it's a lot of stuff to type down. They have this thing in ACUK where they do British rounds matches. It basically is kind of like a MMA type of feel, but you have 3-minute rounds. There's 6 rounds, and whoever gets 2 wins the match, obviously. And I have a different process because some of the early rounds is more like grappling and submission holds and stuff like that. Then the other is like doing your forearm exchanges and blah 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 blah. But again, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it's very different. If I'm doing, for example, if I'm doing Seth Rollins and Big E in a TLC match, as compared to Seth Rollins, Big E, and Kevin Owens that we'll see at day one. There are going to be two different transcripts. Now, both matches have no disqualifications attached to it because, triple threats are no disqualification after all. But you have three different guys in the ring. It's going to be a longer match, and it's going to be a longer written transcript than Seth Rollins and Big E in a traditional TLC match. Because how many times can I type in, Seth Rollins climbed the ladder. Oh, Big E climbed the ladder. I had to pick and choose when to type that because when I'm doing the transfer, I want it to come off like you guys can visualize it while it's happening. So there's a lot of things I have to second guess, and there's risks I have to take in how I want to describe what's happening because there is a lot of repetition in wrestling, and I don't want to repeat myself over and over again when it comes to the transcript. But I try my best to give a theater of the mind approach when I do the transcripts, and it's varying depending on what the given match is. Like for Royal Rumbles, I don't type out all the moves. I tell you who's the entrance in the order, and I tell you who got eliminated by. That's what it is. I can't do a full length transcript of a Royal Rumble where it's just this person's punching that person, that's punching that person. Like it's the same thing over and over again. So it's very, very different. I know it's a long-winded answer, but there's a lot of detail that goes with transcripts, and I hope you guys at least understand what I was just going over.
Now, excuse me. No, Josh, your transcriptions are always top-notch. They're always the absolute best. I love whenever I have to miss a show. I always go back and check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, which everybody should bookmark that right now. Bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. But no, it's always a pleasure to watch you work, Josh, and it's going to pay dividends for you in the future, brother. It's going to be great.
I appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir.
It's been a major honor. Major honor.
Yes,
All right. On that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week's Good Brothers Q&A session. One thing, guys, for saying questions. Always, if you want to participate, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to hit up Twitter support and put in hashtag free the Hoots podcast if you can. I can't believe it's December and my Twitter account is still suspended. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyways, make sure also you can send us questions at the Hoots podcast at gmail.com as well. You can send us questions there. So we got one segment to do before we get to the main event of the show. And I do want to play and add on to what we had for last week's intro of what the hell is wrong with AEW.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
I can't wait for this. I'll play that first, and then you'll play the intro after.
Got it.
All
Got
right.
it.
So,
I can't wait. I can't wait. This is good. I have so much. Okay, sorry. I have so much to say. So let's get through this next segment so that way we can get to the main event.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna go with this week in WWE. We're gonna start that off right now, and also talk a little bit about some of the updates for Dipshit University. We're adding DSU as a WWE part because there's a lot of people that watch WWE, and we want to showcase that through Dipshit University.
Yeah.
It's not talking about, if WWE's doing this or they can do better than that or blah, 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 blah. That's not the point of it. The point of Dipshit University is painting a spotlight on nimrods and jackasses that ruin the fun of wrestling for other people. That's basically the premise of Dipshit University. So
it's another it's an upgrade to the Yan Club of old.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. It's
Yan Club has
the elevation. No,
but the Yan Club has gained such traction that it's become its own school. So the Dipshit University. So
It can't be an exclusive club run by Barney Stinson, you know. Anyways, let's get into this. Before we get to the DSU, let's talk about what happened this past week on SmackDown. We had SmackDown in
San Antonio, Texas.
yes, churros flying everywhere, double fisted
Man,
churros.
them damn things good, Ernie. Got some ice cream. Oh,
That tastes good, Ernie.
oh, them damn things good, Ernie.
I know why they got those big old women down there. They wear bloomers down there. Oh God, there's something wrong with this. All right, so we have Brock Lesnar. I named the title of the article perfectly for what that show was on Friday. I put Brock Lesnar beats Sami Zayn because that's basically what this past Friday SmackDown was. And we started off. I gotta tell you, as much as I've been critical of Brock Lesnar as the heel in that whole run as his Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar as a babyface is number one, a bench, and two, he's the man.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
The opening with him and Sami Zayn was comedy gold. I just don't know what else to add to that. What did you think about that?
No, I thought it was the whole Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar stuff all night was great. Brock Lesnar being like, listen up, kids, it's Sammy, right? Yeah, Sami Zayn, all those little things like that. It was, and then he can flip the switch like, why are you interrupting me? Like, I kill things in Saskatchewan. The way he can do all that stuff, I thought was awesome. And Sami Zayn played his role so well. I hope he gets a legit shot at the Universal Championship in 2021 because I think he's earned it. But that being said, I thought that this whole interaction between him and Brock Lesnar, their chemistry was fantastic. So, and Brock Lesnar, people a lot of people criticize like, oh my God, they're bringing back Lesnar again. They're not building their own stars, right? Which is this, it's the same criticism that we give another wrestling promotion, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit. But look at it. It's the Lesnar stuff is amazing. And it's not that McIntyre couldn't do it. It's not that Sami Zayn couldn't do it. It's not that there isn't talent that could challenge Roman Reigns. But who else is a legitimate threat to Roman Reigns besides Brock Lesnar?
Right.
Right? Like it's that's how good Roman Reigns is. So I thought this whole stuff was terrific. And then, at the end of the night, Lesnar comes out and takes out Zayn, and then Reigns beats him in, 16 seconds. Like, it was great. I thought the whole stuff about that was terrific.
And what was the one thing that people always say that they want to see more out of WWE shows, want more threads out of the show? That's basically what it was. And they've been doing that over the last couple of years. I've noticed kind of a shift with SmackDown and their formatting since the draft and how they've gone about it. There's been a lot of shorter matches. I think the longest match this week was Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler, which is a decent match.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was pretty good. But you're noticing a lot of different changes in the format of the show. But basically, the show is the Tribal Chief. It's the island of relevancy. You got Pat McAfee trying to fit in as many NFL references as he can in every segment. I don't know how Cole just doesn't snap at him at commercial. Maybe he does. We don't know. But he's tremendous. But you have your first day one pay-per-view, right? And you're having this match. I don't know if we're gonna have a decisive winner, nor do I think we need to. Honestly, I'd be surprised if they make Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns a TLC match.
Oh,
the Universal title.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, you got to put him in Hell in a Cell, I think.
Possibly, and a lot of people are speculating, oh, this is going to stretch out to WrestleMania. I'd say go with it week to week and see where it goes from there. That'd be my advice,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Sasha Banks beat Shayna Baszler. Saw that. The other part of the show I did like was Charlotte Flair's promo. I thought Charlotte's promo was really good, and I know a lot of people make it. If your only takeaway from Charlotte, it's Toni Storm so far as them throwing pies at each other, you're missing the point.
Right.
Charlotte is explaining that there's levels to where she's at in the Toni Storms of the world. Yeah, you have people throwing pie faces. They got mutually embarrassed, okay? But that's not the whole story of their feud. It's that Charlotte feels that Toni Storm is not on her level.
Right.
And to a certain extent, I don't disagree with her.
Absolutely not.
I love Toni and what she did in NXT and NXT UK, but you're not on Charlotte Flair's level. You're
Right.
not. So
I agree.
the fact that we're not rushing Charlotte and Sasha again for the title, I kind of like the fact that they're giving Toni Storm a shot here. I will say this though, I didn't think SmackDown was a bad show or anything like that, but I would say this was a great show.
No,
I
I agree with you. It was okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, I guess. It's I think that this week overall the matches were way too short. There wasn't there wasn't any like real besides Baszler and overrated Banks. That's it. That was the only real match on the show, and it was a good match. I thought that I enjoyed that match, and I think Sasha did well. But yeah, so that there was no real wrestling on SmackDown this week.
And I wonder if it'll be really cool if Sheamus and Cesaro and Holland become like a group with each other. I think that'd be pretty interesting. We got to figure out what's going to go on with Nakamura. Don't get me wrong. I love him celebrating with boobs and Pat. That's all fun and all, but we got to get Nakamura's next challenger set up sooner or later.
I think so too. I will say one other thing that I did notice, and I don't know how you feel about this, Josh, but when they were doing the Shayna Baszler video package, they included Nia Jax and Eva Marie, and then Pat McAfee called it the Future Endeavors kick, and I was like, ooh, ooh.
Too soon, Val.
I think so too. It was like, considering that, especially considering that's a hot topic right now amongst wrestling fans. So I don't know if that was perhaps the best tasting joke at that moment, but
I think some of those wrestling fans probably never had a job or worked at a major corporation. They don't know how that works. Gotta call it spade here, folks. It's a business, not a mom and pop shop. Anyways, let's go to Raw really quick because I thought Raw was another good show this week. We had Raw and let me pull this up real quick. We had Raw in
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, yes, home of Jerry the King Lawler. But we had another Royal performer there that had a pretty funny promo for her match. I thought it was pretty funny for her match with Nikki H. Shout out to Queen Selena. She's doing some good stuff, and she's on a kind of a winning streak right now. Obviously, her and Carmella are the new Raw. They're not the Raw. They're the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions right now. But there's been a lot of scuttlebutt this week about complaining about Corey Graves' commentary over Carmella. Is it over the top or objectifying her for her looks? The fact that people are going out of their way to go after Corey Graves for the fact that he's putting over his fiance, I think it's kind of ridiculous in my point of view. Yes, sex appeal is a part of entertainment. It is what it is. You're not being Harvey Weinstein and acting weird or whatever if you're embracing your fiance. I mean, I don't understand why people are going after Graves for that. It's not sexist. It's not whatever buzzwords you want to attach to it. But, like, really, we're going to go after Corey Graves because he's putting over his fiance? She's a heel. He's a heel color commentator. What else do you expect? You would want him to be over the top. If she's the most beautiful woman in all WWE, if that's her character, right? Would you think that the fiance would try to validate that? Well, let's say I was a heel commentator, right? And there was a chick that I liked on the roster or a backstage interview or whatever. You know what I mean? I would probably do the same thing as Corey Graves. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely. This part of the show, Josh. That's part of, again, and Corey Graves talked about this on his Twitter. It's a character he's portraying. It's not the person who he is in real life. That's his character on television.
Right.
So
we had we had an interesting intro where they had, it's kind of old school. They had like the guys talk before their big match.
Mhm.
You had Seth Rollins cut the promo. Man, his outfits get crazier as the weeks go by. I hope he's saving his money. I don't know what he's doing right now. What's he calling himself? The drip guy now?
Oh God. I don't remember. I don't remember.
But we basically was at a setup in the opening match for Raw this week was Big E and Kevin Owens in the steel cage match, which I thought was a very good match. Kevin also had a really good cage match this time last year with the Tribal Chief. I remember this because it was
We did, yeah.
It was after a Viking Saints game on Christmas Eve, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that SmackDown had a big rating too, but it was a tape edition of SmackDown, and Roman and Kevin had a awesome cage match. But anyways, this is all set up for their big triple threat match at day one. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Kevin Owens against Seth Rollins on Raw very soon. Seth Rollins always seems to weasel his way into the matches with Big E and Kevin Owens over the last couple weeks. And basically, Seth Rollins is being a pest, and Kevin Owens wants another shot at the WWE title before he goes off and be's the 10th fiddle on the elite ladder.
Feed the, he's just gonna be feeding the young bucks, and the elite. So, but hey, you do you, buddy. You go. Listen, if you can go get that major paycheck from Tony Khan, more power to you. Yes, good job, brother Adam. Well done. Yes, if you can go get that big paycheck from Tony Khan, listen, more power to you. Drain him dry while you can.
Drain him dry, pal. Really quick, what's your thoughts on this program so far, and are you looking forward to this match at day one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that this overall, I think Raw this was a great episode of Raw. I think the wrestling on Raw this week was just excellent. Some really terrific matches this week on the show. I mean, if this was a pay-per-view show, I'd be okay with it, like, because of the matches, obviously, a little bit longer for the U.S. title match and that sort of thing. But no, I'm intrigued by this program. I think Kevin Owens as a heel is tremendous. I think Seth Rollins as a heel is tremendous. Big E doing his thing, I think, is great. I think that this is a great way to protect, the triple threat match. This is going to be a way to protect Big E and Seth Rollins. I think we're leading up to that as potentially another Mania match. But I think that Kevin Owens is tremendous. I think that everyone in this storyline has been tremendous, particularly Kevin Owens. But it's going to be great.
Does Bobby Lashley get added to this due to what happened on Monday?
No, I say he gets the winner the next night.
I think Bobby Lashley gets the winner at the Royal Rumble.
Ah, very good. Yeah, I like that idea too. So Lashley against Big E at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Two big men, sweaty men, big sweaty meat men going at it at the Royal Rumble.
Love the meat. Love the meat.
Oh gosh. That's
funny. Let's see what else. Like you mentioned, this is a very good episode of Raw. From Memphis. We went over the cage match. We also had, I mentioned the stuff with Queen Selena. We also had Matt Riddle playing the role of journalist this week, which I thought was pretty funny.
I don't think there's anything that Matt Riddle does that isn't just freaking outstanding and hysterical. I love Matt Riddle in every way, shape, or form. He's tremendous.
We had a first in WWE this week. It was the Arcade Bronament.
Yes, the Arcade Bronament. That's right.
So it looks like we have Street Profits against the Mysterio family next week on Raw, the finale. And whoever wins that match will fight Arcade Bro at day one. Probably gonna say it's gonna be Street Profits. And honestly, I would not be surprised if the Street Profits beat Arcade Bro at day one. I would not be surprised.
I think so too. And then that way, you can get some, like, Riddle eliminates Randy Orton in the Royal Rumble match, and that sets up their Mania match. Yep.
Perfect. Yes. What was I gonna say? So I like how that's laid out. Like the good thing with Raw, they're adding things that you could see on the next week's show to then leaving things open ended. So I'll say that the Damian Priest match with Robert Roode, I thought was very good.
Yep.
Bobby's still very good at what he does in the ring, and when you give him time, and especially when it's a singles match, he's still one of the best in the world. I always enjoyed his work over the years, especially in TNA. So I was very happy for Bobby that he had a chance to have a longer length match as a singles match. It was an open challenge match. Basically, Damian Priest retains and he'll fight Dolph Ziggler, Dolph Simpson on Raw next week. What was your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've said for a long time, Damian Priest is my favorite Raw superstar right now. I think Damian, he's cooled off a little bit, but Damian Priest I think he is. Depending on what happens with the U.S. title, I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Priest won the Royal Rumble this year. He's one of my picks to win the Royal Rumble this year. I think he's that good and could very easily be a world champion at a moment's notice. So I love Damian Priest. I love Robert Roode as well. I loved his stuff in TNA when he was part of Team Canada in TNA. Of course, all his stuff in NXT with his theme song and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought this was really enjoyable, and I thought it was great.
Yes, so I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see what else we had here.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say I'm liking this program with Bianca Belair and Doudrop as well. I'm hoping that eventually they'll change Doudrop's name back to Piper Niven and just let her be Piper Niven. Because I think that needs to happen. But of course, WWE doesn't have a history of doing that because I've said they needed to do that with T-Bar and Mace for a longest time as well. They need to be going back to be Dominik Dijakovic and Dio Madden. But, that's just me. So I'm hoping, so that probably won't happen. But I like the program with Bianca Belair and Doudrop. I think it's working real well. And I thought they had a great match this week.
Yeah, that was a very good match. I wanted to mention that too. I always mention you got to maximize your TV time, and this may not be a major feud for a lot of people, but I thought they had a fantastic match. I thought it was very good. Speaking of storytelling and one-on-one playbook, you got to go with the Miz and Edge. Just fantastic segment again on Miz TV this week. We're going to have Miz against Edge at day one. I got to tell you right now, guys, the card for day one right now, it's looking good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the Usos need to do more with this day one-ish kind of thing, getting into the pay-per-view. I hope that they do something with that, because they're always like day one-ish. Yeah, they've got to do. We've been day one since day one was cool, Us, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think they will, and it's kind of pressing off the whole bloodline thing. We are the ones.
Yep.
Which it's very interesting. You remember The Rock kind of had like his own theme pay-per-view. Remember Rock Bottom?
Oh yeah.
Oh man. they had like a full like picture of The Rock on the stage. I think this show was like in Vancouver or something like that. I remember this as a kid. Oh my god, Rock Bottom. That was an interesting pay-per-view.
I can't even remember who was on that.
There was a live match on that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Was there? I don't remember. Here, let me see if I can pull it up.
Rock Bottom. Let's see what Bert Carter finds.
Let me see if I can find it here.
WWF Rock Bottom.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see. This was it took place on December 13th, 1998 in Vancouver. The main event was Stone Cold versus The Undertaker in a Barry Lyde match.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, the memory still works.
Okay, so here's matches that were on that night.
Okay.
Dwayne Gill defeated Matt Hardy.
Gilbert.
yeah. Gilbert with the Job Squad defeated the Running Limp Man. Kevin Quinn defeated Brian Christopher.
Okay.
Triple H defeated Draws. And the New Age Outlaws defeated the Acolytes. Those were kind of the dark matches. Then in the main show, D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry defeated Supply and Demand. The Godfather and Val Venus. Oh gosh, the Headbangers defeated the Oddities.
Yeah.
Steve Blackman defeated Owen Hart. The
Uh-huh.
Brood defeated the Job Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Goldust defeated Jeff Jarrett in a striptease match.
Okay.
Let's see. The New Age Outlaws defeated the Corporation in the tag titles. Mankind defeated The Rock to win the WWF Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Undertaker for a spot in the Royal Rumble match, in a Buried Alive match. So that was that. But
Vince Russo.
Flying demand.
Vince Russo.
Oh boy.
Last thing here, really quick for Raw. Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan.
Great.
I thought it played out the way it should have went. I don't think it was that time for Liv Morgan to become champion. Do I think she will become champion? Maybe. Is this something I think they could push Liv Morgan to winning the title at WrestleMania? I don't know. I really don't know. I like Liv, obviously. I think she's getting better in the ring. Obviously, her waterfall has no bounds. But I think when it comes to Liv, I need to see a little bit more from her fiery wise.
Right.
Because it's one thing to have, getting title shots right now, but it's Liv Morgan, a person you see winning the Royal Rumble. It's Liv Morgan, somebody you see winning an Elimination Chamber match. So look, we don't know which title matches are gonna main event WrestleMania this year. We don't. Let's say the Tribal Chief will probably main event night 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know if the WWE title is gonna close out or the Raw title. No, will the Raw Women's title close out the show? Will the SmackDown Women's title close out the show? I know a lot of people are going to campaign for Sasha and Charlotte to main event night 1, but I don't know if you're going to do this 2 years in a row. That's the thing.
Right.
Is it something where SmackDown gets the main event both nights of WrestleMania again? I don't know if we're going to do that again. So,
well, you've got to have Roman Reigns as the main event of the show because, you have to.
Yeah, that's a given. I'm talking about for night 1. Here's the thing: a lot of people can say a million things. Oh, this person should fight this person in the main event of WrestleMania. If somebody could say, "Oh, Big E," or maybe they switch top. Maybe Seth Rollins fights Finn Balor in the main event of WrestleMania. You could throw up so many different narratives. Oh, Liv Morgan should beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. Is that closing out the show? I don't think so. There's a lot of factors that have to play. It is easy to say, oh, so-so should fight so-so, but you really have to look at it realistically. So
right, I agree.
So kudos to Raw this week. Another solid show this week.
Really, I wanted to ask you, Josh, real quick. What are your thoughts of Austin Theory being paired with Vince McMahon? What do you think about all that?
I think it's tremendous. I'm getting early Randy Orton evolution vibes from Austin Theory, and I think he's going to do some good stuff for sure.
I agree.
Let's see.
Okay, here's one, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Horse Royal Rumble winner, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory beats Big E for the switch on the heat there, man. Oh my god.
I mean, woo.
You know what? I will see Austin Theory probably could be the guy that takes the title off of Damian Priest.
Yeah, I like that a little bit better too, because I think have that happen at day 1, and then Priest wins the Royal Rumble. I could see that happening too.
Possibly, yeah. Let's see. Really quick, NXT TakeOver WarGames. I do want to mention this really quick. We're not going to spend too much time on this. We're going to have WarGames here. I enjoyed the show. It was cool. It's a little different vibe from it being labeled takeovers and stuff like that. So I will say this: can we stop airing Sam Roberts on these pre-shows and stuff? Is Sam Roberts still relevant in 2021, let alone 2022? like he shaved his head bald, but he won't shave that ridiculous beard. He looks like a gremlin, and he says nothing of interest. So I don't know why they keep bringing him back for these pre-shows and stuff like that. I don't get that. I really don't. But I do want to talk about WarGames really quick. Not spend too much time in this. So we had the women's WarGames match start out the show, which was won by Team Raquel Gonzalez. Tremendous performance by the beautiful Cora Jade, Chicago's own Cora Jade. She won the match for her team. Crazy swanton bomb off the top of the WarGames structure. Crazy match to start off the show. That was insane. It's crazy. I was I was looking at the card and it's like, there's not a lot of bigger matches outside of the two like feature war game matches, right? And then I got into it, and then we had Imperium against Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. And that ended up being like one of my favorite matches of the entire show. It was the amazing tag team match. If you haven't seen Imperium against Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, go out of your way to watch it. That was an awesome match. It was crazy because Sunday, I went downtown on a date or whatever, and then I came back right before the pay-per-view, like right around 5:30 or something like that. I got back to the house. I was downtown on a date, and I came back, and it was I was saying earlier, I didn't know how this paper was going to be because I was interested in the two WarGame matches, but the rest of the card I think shaped out the way it went. Cameron Grimes beat Duke Hudson in the hair versus hair match. So Duke Hudson had the pretend wig on NXT this week, which I thought was pretty funny. They're gonna have a no holds barred match, and basically he'll reveal that he's bald. But they're doing some funny stuff there. And then we had let's see, what else did I miss from WarGames? Just 1 second, let me pull it up here.
No problem.
Yes. Oh yes, the Roderick Strong retained his cruiserweight title over Joe Gacy, so I thought that was decent as well. But then the men's WarGames match, Team 2.0, NXT 2.0 beat Team Black and Gold. A crazy barn burner of a match. A nice send off for Johnny Gargano. That was probably his last match at NXT, so that match is insane. But even though I had low expectations for this WarGame special, I thought it was better than what I thought it was going to be. So kudos to everybody at NXT. I thought it was a solid show this past Sunday night.
Great. Yeah, no, it's everything from what I've seen. It looks like it was a good show, a lot of good stuff going on. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with NXT in the future.
And then we had coming up today, we got NXT UK. I love this. I love NXT UK, man. It's the best. We got Mustache Mountain going after Pretty Deadly in their NXT UK tag team titles in the main event today. That's going to be an insane match. Their last match was one of the best tag matches I've seen this whole year. And I'm excited to see what they pull out today. I really am. Also got Sam Gradwell against Shaw Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, folks, you got to give Noam Dar his flowers. Noam Dar has been doing some of the best heel work in WWE, and nobody ever talks about it. It's a shame. I keep telling people live and die on the state of WWE based off of what happens on Raw and SmackDown. NXT UK is the best show that WWE produces each week, and it's a blast covering that show. But I'm excited for NXT UK. So that's going to be a little wrap up there for what happened this week in WWE.
Great.
One last thing before we get to the main event.
Oh, Josh, why are you messing with me? I can't wait for the main event. It's
suspension's there, pal. But we have to update people what's going on with DSU. We got
true. Yep.
DSU, the college, the university that's going to sweep the nation in 2022 and beyond. DSU, we appreciate the feedback that we got for the segment last week. I do appreciate that. It was kind of funny to listen to it back, but DSU, and remember, put the hashtag all DSU. Let us know who you think would be good professors at DSU. I gave you last week was our orientation day. I kind of presented what DSU is going to be, but I have somebody here who actually works in the educational realm, and this is when I'm glad to say that Brett Hart is not only a good brother and a friend, but he's a confidant here for this podcast that I can use to my disposal here for DSU. And so you heard from me last week is from DSU. Now you get to hear from Brett Carter in his additions to DSU.
Yes, Josh, I've discovered that the curriculum at DSU has some major flaws in it. They got some holes that are missing. I think that we need to put some different people in place. We need to add some different courses. I'd like to propose that we add REF. Let's see. We got to find a good course number here. REF 10, we'll just say 101 from now. REF. We'll eventually start adding graduate degree. Actually, no, I say this, but we could add a graduate degree for this. And I'd like to say that REF 101, it has to deal with referees in All Elite Wrestling. And I believe that, we need to start its own separate college inside DSU. I nominate that Aubrey Edwards become the dean of the College of Horrible Officiating. I think that she would do an outstanding job at Dipshit University in making sure that all of the dead corpse referees are teaching great classes. Sorely is not holding the tag rope. I think that's going to be an important one. Turning how to turn aside and not give not pay any attention to what's happening. We have to shorten the course name, but
don't forget the 1, 2, 3 tags in the corner.
Oh yes, that's right. That's very important. We gotta yes, we have to add that. So I think I think we have something there as establishing Aubrey Edwards as the dean of the College of Shitty Officiating at Dipshit University, or really just All Elite Wrestling Officiating. I think would be a good one to add to that. You have to have a board of regents to make sure that everything's good. I'd like to nominate the Elite to be the board of regents because, and we had Tony Khan as well. I think that's very important because, clearly they think that they know exactly. Of course, you could say that the AEW fan base could be a part of that crew as well, because let's face it, according to AEW, when Pockets touches somebody with his foot, it's the greatest thing ever on AEW each week. So
standing 405.
Yes. So I think those are just a couple of additions. No, I'd like to add the Dipshit University to begin, but we'll keep it going.
Yeah, we could also add stating the obvious 203 with Jimmy Van. We can add that to the list as well. Folks, everybody says that Stephen A. list is fluid, but here at DSU, our courses are fluid.
No, absolutely, they are. Yeah.
So we're open to suggestions. We're open to changes as well. I mean, are you still interested in incompetent 401 with Rick Knox? our sister program to REF.
REF 203 or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God.
Sister program. We gotta figure out the sports team and stuff like that. That's probably where the Young Bucks and everybody would be there. Football fuckery and all that shit. But DSU is fluid, and DSU is gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Oh, it is. Now that I'm starting to get the concept, now you're bringing in the educator to really get the courses in place for Dipshit University. I can't wait. Can't wait to see how we grow as an entity going forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rely on you, especially on music as well. I mean, I could add my 2 cents in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the official band should be Nickelback, but that's just me.
Oh man. And the mascots would be Private Party.
No, the mascots of Dipshit University is going to be the Acclaimed.
Oh yes, absolutely.
They can be part of the music. No, there's your music curriculum at Dipshit University. You've got Nickelback, you've got the Acclaimed, you've got oh God, who else? The Elite theme song. I think the composers of the Elite, the Beat Your Meat theme song. I think
Emi Sakura, they're fucking We Will Rock You on Dark and Elevation every fucking week. Oh man.
How about the new Moxley theme song of Wild Thing?
Let's leave Moxley out of this.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, no knock to Moxley. I hope he gets better very soon, of course. But I'm just, the character, of course.
No, I get what you're saying.
So, is it time, Josh?
The Best Friends theme music. Best friends. All right. On that
Give
note,
the people what they want.
Thank you, Excalibur. On that note, it's time to give the people what they want.
Are we giving it, Josh? Are we giving the people what they want? Can we do it now?
Yes. Well, wait 1 second. There's one thing we have to play before we get into.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
That's right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for another stellar edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. We're going to send this off in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat. 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 Beat your meat.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Oh my God. Oh boy.
Yet.
Oh God. Well, Josh,
I love this show.
I love this show. So, Josh, what the hell is wrong with AEW? Now, what I thought we would do this week is let's take a few moments to acknowledge a few, like 1 or 2 good things about AEW this week. And I have to say, Josh, I got to start the good stuff off this week with MJF. I thought MJF was just tremendous this week. The video package, him coming out to the ovation, playing off the crowd, then eventually turning to the heel at the end when he beat down Best Friends. I thought that was great. I thought MJF was just tremendous this week. I don't know what you thought about that, but I thought MJF was continues to be the best part about AEW. Well, one of the best, if not the best part about AEW each week. I think it was just tremendous. So I really enjoyed that. So I think that was great. The other things I enjoyed this week, I thought the Rico and Jamie Hayter match was good. I really, really liked that match. And then I also thought that actually the match between Bryan Danielson and John Silver was good. I thought John Silver looked quite good in that match. And when Punk was giving his promo, I thought the "fuck your pizza" chant was actually pretty funny. When they were knocking Punk when he was giving the honor. So those are that's what I enjoyed about AEW this week. What did you enjoy about AEW this week?
First, CM Punk coming out to MJF's music, I thought was pretty funny. Just good time in there. We'll get to the Punk part.
Yeah.
But, I liked aspects of the Bryan Danielson and John Silver match, but I have to be honest with you, Brett Carter. I thought this was one of the more rudderless editions of Dynamite that I've seen in a couple of weeks, and I agree with everything you said about MJF. The whole video package beforehand, I thought that was tremendous. But yeah, this was This is like one of those episodes where you're like, why do I do what I do? And this is one of the episodes that we have to thank TK for writing out our segment for us this week, which is more the case on this podcast. But the MJF stuff was pretty good. And then I thought it was pretty funny when they were like announcing the matches for Rampage and Winter is coming next week. Ted's like, we're going to send him. We're going to send Hook. It's a funny bit. And so like him against Fuego the Soul has next to no interest from my point of view, but for me,
really not.
this is the whole thing about they're gonna send Hook. I just think it's hilarious. So that's pretty much it.
Okay,
There's not a lot of somebody I think like.
All right, let's get into it, Josh. And we're gonna start right from the beginning. Okay, so CM Punk comes out, right? Comes out to MJF's music. Fine. Why is this company trying to turn their biggest asset in the world heel right now? Like they're just all of a sudden trying to turn the switch on Punk and turn him into a heel. And then maybe it was just me, Josh, but this whole Islander shtick went on way too long. Like it was like you make one or two shots at them, fine. I actually don't have a problem with that. I think that's funny because that's who Punk is. But like it seemed like it was like 10 minutes of bashing the Islanders. Like that's not what Punk's shtick is. And they're trying to turn him heel. Like Booker of the Year, pal, right there. Like you're turning your biggest asset that people go batshit crazy for into a heel for some stupid reason. I did not like this at all.
And here's the thing: there's not one AEW crowds that makes themselves exclusive to other AEW crowds. They're all the same. They all cheer and boo for the same shit. So I thought this was one, counterproductive, and two, this is another example of having creative freedom is not what you think it is all the time. No. If there was a segment that needed a filter or at least something added onto it, it was this segment. And the fact that you are in Long Island and you don't have MJF cut a promo is bullshit.
It's ridiculous.
I get it. You can't ignore the crowd or stuff like that. Oh, they're going to cheer for him and you got to acknowledge that. But you don't have MJF say anything?
Right.
Nothing?
Are they taping? Are they airing Rampage in Long Island? I can't remember.
Yeah, but they got like 4 matches. Is it going to be an overrun episode this week? Like, I don't know how they're going to do that.
I don't know. Again, Booker of the Year, pal, right there. And I know that's art coming from you because Punk is your goat is Punk. So
yeah, I love Punk, but this was ultra forced, especially like the first couple Islanders jokes. I agreed with it. It was pretty funny. Anybody who watches hockey and stuff knows what's up. But this is something that needed an interruption, and it went way too long. Like like Punk going like, "Oh, is that the best you got?" Like I enjoyed that stuff. Like that was some of the old CM Punk stuff that I really enjoyed when I first started to get into him. But the rest of it was just going on and on and on. And then how it closed too. Like, I don't care that Edge is getting cheered when he comes out to interrupt CM Punk. Go on with it. That's the thing. Like, you don't have Edge say anything to CM Punk. I don't get that.
No, they could have had an amazing verbal battle in front of the Long Island crowd with the roles reversed. There was such potential there. And
and here's the thing. MJF parents brought, this is our son before he was an asshole sign to the arena, right? And you don't have him rip his parents in front of the crowd. Like, it's this missed opportunity there. And by the way, to the people in Long Island saying "fuck your pizza" chant, you guys can take one in the ass as far as I'm concerned. Because you guys wouldn't know good food or good women if it slapped you in the face.
As an unbiased and impartial person, I thought it was actually funny, but I know, which means, Josh, it works because they took a shot at your city. Just saying. You say, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Josh, why does All Elite Wrestling continue to let the Acclaimed on television? God. They come out and they're making like Anthony Cuomo jokes. They tried to make an Islanders joke. I mean, they are an insult to music. They are an insult to everything that professional wrestling stands for. They may be, besides the Elite, the most annoying and just not in a good way, like annoying in a bad way.
Like I'm not offended when the Acclaim come on my screen. I want to change my channel.
Correct. Like if you're annoying, like you think of good annoying, like Sonya Deville, that's good annoying because you know that eventually Naomi's gonna, she's gonna get her comeuppance from Naomi. But this is not good annoying. This is very bad annoying. And I just can't stand the Acclaimed. They're gonna be teaching the music course at Dipshit University, Josh. Is gonna be
No, like you have to see like my facial expression when I see Max Caster do these attempts at freestyling. I'm like, what are we doing here? And it's ridiculous. We had two overly drawn out, long ass tag matches with no psychology. People running into the ring whenever they want. People can't figure out who's the legal man. You got the dead corpse rep in one match, and Paul Turner, who's as shitty a referee as Rick Knox is. Like, I felt bad for referee Tony. You got a guy like referee Tony, who's one of the best referees. I say this objectively as his friend, and I've seen his work. You have a talented guy and a talented referee sitting at home when he could be doing this on TV. But we got to have the friends of the wrestlers.
All friends wrestling, Josh.
Yeah, all friends. And we got the Acclaim and 2.0. What? Oh my God! We'll get to that in a couple minutes as well. But like, yeah, them against the Jungle Express and the Varsity Douchebags. And here's the thing: who got over this match? Oh, Jungle Boy did this little stupid snare trap. Awesome.
Right.
Oh, this is a waste of time. That match took me 45 minutes to type out last night, by the way.
Good Lord. If I'm being honest with you, Josh, I actually fast forwarded through this match because I was watching this match on DVR because I'm like, I know what's going to happen. Spot. They try to put Jungle Boy over, and then you have a backstage brawl. I predicted this segment before it actually happened.
Yes.
And I was right. I was right. Spot. Put over Jungle Boy, backstage brawl. Yeah, that's exactly what I predicted was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, let's talk about the EVPs of high spots. We have the Hardy Boys against Fuck Taylor and Rocky Romero. Another match I could give two shits about. This sucks for me because I actually like Rocky Romero and his stuff he does in New Japan, but all this is set up the return of Trent Beretta and Sue coming down the ring. Judy Beretta in the house. Oh my God. You would think this is like WrestleMania for Excalibur for the number of times he said, you got to give the people what they want. You know what the people want? They want you to go the fuck home and stay the fuck home.
Yes.
That's what they want.
Correct. It's just and then, oh man, that's intimidating. He's coming out in his mom's minivan. Oh boy, I'm scared of that, man. Oh God. If I'm supposed to be somebody like Adam Cole or the Young Bucks, who are, Cole especially, but the Young Bucks who claim like, oh, we're the best. We're scared of a dude coming out of his mom's minivan. Man, that's just, oh boy, storytelling through the roof there, pal.
And why does every AEW tag match needs to have fucking 15 people at ringside?
The one thing I will say, though, Josh, that Adam Cole finally did something useful in AEW when he punched Pockets in the mouth. I will say that he finally did something useful in AEW when he knocked Pockets on his ass. I thought that was great.
They announced that Revolution is going to be in Orlando at the UCF Arena. I know that area and that arena very well. I posed to Brian Carter if we should go to the show.
No, I'm not giving All Elite Wrestling a cent of my money. They don't deserve a cent of my money.
No shot.
No shot, Josh, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If I may pose a question for you, moving on. Can we move on? Is that all right? Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. Question for you. What do you think are the criteria to earning a TNT championship match? If you were just watching this show, what do you think is the criteria to earning a TNT championship match? Go ahead.
Having a good win-loss record, beating people that are in the actual top 5 rankings.
I think that'd be great.
Here's the thing. I don't know what fits the criteria for this promotion that claims to be a sports-based wrestling promotion.
Never fear, Josh. Your teacher is here. Matt Stryker in the house. He will now teach you the requirements to earning a TNT championship match, okay? So your question, defeating something in the top 5? Incorrect. This is how apparently you earn a TNT title match in AEW. You have to be a new signee
Correct.
or you have to be an EVP. Those are the only two ways that you earn a TNT championship. It has nothing to do with your talent. It has nothing to do with the rankings, which apparently are supposed to mean something, but clearly mean dog shit.
Yeah, Jay Lethal got a shot too.
Who did?
Jay Lethal got a shot too.
That's what I'm saying. A new signee or an EVP. That's the only way you get a TNT championship match. Clearly, it has nothing to do with your ability or your rankings or anything like that. How does this make sense, Josh? How does this make any sense at all with their booking of the TNT championship? I don't get it.
You know, for me, I really don't go on about booking because I really don't care about that stuff. But you got a point here. Like, this is where I will talk about booking because this is all over the place. And being back to the stuff I did like what Ethan Page said to Sammy Guevara because he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying about what's going on with that situation. But, like, not only that, Brett Carter, but the stuff with Team Taz. It's like, every time they build up to a big moment, either somebody turns on somebody on Team Taz or they lose, and they have Taz losing his mind on commentary. It's like a running joke. I don't take the group seriously, and that's due to the booking. And I don't talk about booking because I really don't care about that stuff, but that's plain and obvious to your screen. They didn't go 1 week with Dante Martin with Team Taz. Now, I knew that he was going to turn on them sooner or later, but a week? Yeah, the whole stuff with the TNT title is all over the place. But guess what, Brett Carter? Here's the thing. Their power rankings system has always been fugazi. It's always been ridiculous. I've been pointing it out since the beginning. They try to cherry pick. The metrics they want to use for their stories. And like you said, they have a new site for WWE. Oh, here's your title shot. Oh, here's something for New Japan. Here's your title shot. They do matches to placate the dirt sheet riders. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do, and it's ridiculous.
And people are going to say, "Oh, what are you talking about, Derek?" I mean, they gave Sammy Guevara a title shot. He was just returning from injury. Like, I don't get what this company, this supposedly sports, where rankings matter, Josh, wins and losses matter, apparently. But
yeah, so because Cody did a dove spot through a flaming table last week, that warrants him to get a title match.
Gosh. Okay, speaking of storylines and amazing storytelling, Josh, right? You got the Varsity Blondes on stage after their match, and yay, it's great. Then for some stupid reason, Malachi Black shows up, spits mist in Julia Hart's face, and leaves.
Are you ready for Andrade and Malachi Black against the Varsity Blondes? Jesus Christ. That's going to be fun.
Oh, my God. I was like, what the hell was that?
Oh,
like,
here's something elite. How about that backstage brawl with 2.0 Eddie Kingston and Ortiz? One, get your production team and get their shit together because how you losing audio like that? This is supposed to be the company that's at the level of WWE.
Right.
Say what you want, but they would have audio and their production on. That's the thing. Like, I go back, everybody can talk about, AEW is great because they have no filter and they have creative freedom. They can do whatever they want. But here's the glass case example. You're doing live TV. This is not a indie super show that you're putting on television every week. You're on television. You're having people do a backstage brawl with no audio. Ed Keith's talking to the camera. You can't hear anything he fucking says. And you got a sloppy brawl at best. Did you see the beatdown that 2.0 tried to give Chris Jericho last week?
Yep. It was poorly executed. And now we're going to apparently lead to another Inner Circle versus 2.0 feud or something like that. Like,
well, look, you have to look at the way they shoot these backstage brawls too. So you have Officer Bar Brady out there with Ruby Soho, and they have another sloppy brawl here because Nyla Rose beat up Ruby Soho, and then you see how Anna Jay and Ty Conti like barely running into the camera shot with steel chairs. it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on television. It looks phony. It looks fake. It looks outlaw. And it's not a good look. You're running a television show. I don't care about how many good fucking wrestling matches you have on the show, Tony Khan. Get your shit together.
Correct. Josh, is that all I got this week? I think
no,
that's all.
We got to get to the main event really quick.
Okay, because I actually didn't mind the main event, but I know you had some issues with it. So go ahead.
My issue is not the match itself. I thought the match was fine for what it was. But I'm sorry, as much as popular as John Silver is, and I know he's from Long Island and blah, 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 for me, John Silver main eventing a TV show is not for me. I'm sorry. It's like Roman Reigns fighting Rick Boogs. I just don't believe it. You know the outcome. I get the whole premise of it that Bryan Danielson wants to run through the entire Dark Order, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. You could have him fight Preston Vance, who's already main evented at Dynamite before. You could have done that. I like John Silver. I think he's funny. I love when he goes through that fast-paced sequence that he does out of the ring all the time. I think he's funny. He's a good guy. But it's not a personal knock on John Silver. But for right now, and this is hyping up your big match next week, Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson for the AEW World title. I'm sorry, John Silver and Bryan Danielson is not a TV main event in my eyes. I like the match. It was what it was. But again, this passive-aggressive Whole Foods dipshit, Bryan Danielson cutting lame promos after the match, it's not getting me excited. And by the way, do you know who the AEW World Champion is?
I believe that would be Hangman Adam Page.
Where is he on these shows?
You saw your world champion for 1 minute in their go-home match segment to Winter is Coming.
Yeah. He just beat Kenny Olympia, and you barely show him on the fucking show. On that note, that's what the hell is wrong with AEW this week.
All right, let's get out of here. This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Brought to you this week by Moms in Minivans.
Oh, wow. Another stellar edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, and another stellar edition of the Hoots podcast this week. Brother Carter, fantastic job as always.
Thank you. You as well, my friend. This will be, Josh, I'll let the listeners know, my last appearance on the Hoot podcast for 2021. Taking some time to wrap up the year. So I'll be taking a small little hiatus for the rest of December, but I will be back stronger and better than ever to kick off 2022 in the first week of January. Can't wait to be back, everybody. So I wish everybody a wonderful, happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see everybody in 2022 when the Kingdom of Jericho reigns forever.
Folks, you could follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to hit us up on Instagram if you like as well at Josh Lopez 94. That's JOSHIE. I can't even say my name. JOSHIE Lopez 94 on Instagram at Josh Lopez Music as well. If you want to see my guitar covers, hit up Brother Carter at Twitter at Derek Stoughton, DerekStoughton.com, and WrestlingRumors.net as well.
Indeed.
Make sure to subscribe to the podcast right now. If you're an Apple Podcast user, please do us a favor, leave us a 4 or 5 rating and review of the podcast. It helps expand and reach the show. We appreciate the numbers, but we want to get more of your feedback and what you like or dislike about the podcast, and we want to hear from you guys. So don't be shy. Hit us up on Apple Podcasts and let us know what you think about the show. Bookmark ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. And remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself. By the way, I like to enroll Aaron Rodgers at Dipshit University for many, many reasons. But on that note, for Sir Derico, for the final time in 2021, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 287 of the Hoots Podcast. This is a countdown to 300 continues. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We love you guys. We'll talk to you guys next week. Yes, sir.